Hey guys, it's Robin, and I want to talk today about what you do if you can't do lunges or squats, or you're finding that they're really painful to do. And I want to just remind you that the first thing to do if you're struggling with those is make sure that your form is on point. I'm not going to go into form for those moves today, but maybe that'll be a great future video, because if your form isn't right, your knee's not going to be in the right alignment. That is the number one cause of knee pain. But if you're 100% sure your form is good, you've got some kind of inflamed knees right now, and you want some alternatives to strengthen the muscles that aren't going to aggravate your knees, I got you. Okay, so instead of lunges, what we're going to do is some different exercises to strengthen the hamstrings and the glutes, the posterior chain. Those are the primary muscles that you need to strengthen. We're typically pretty strong in our quads, usually stronger in our quads than in the back of our legs, and the quads tend to take over in a lot of moves. So it's great to have these moves that are specifically more for the back of the leg. So I have 3 exercises to show you that you can replace lunges with, and you can rotate them, you can alternate them, you can do all 3 at once, whatever works for you. The first one I'm going to show you is going to be on your hands and knees, and this will work as long as your knees aren't so painful that you can't kneel on them. I'm just going to move this ball out of the way. It's not really thinking that's a good idea though. Okay, there we go. So you're going to be on your hands and knees. What you're going to do is bring your foot up. Your ankle is going to be flexed so that your foot is like the flat of your foot is facing towards the ceiling. Your leg is parallel to the floor. And then you're going to lift up. And you're going to imagine you're pushing something towards the ceiling. You're really going to, it's not a big movement, guys. You want to make sure that your back is long and strong, and the movement is coming from your glute, from this big muscle here, not from your back. So it's not this, because then you're really not working your glute at all. It's just a small movement. And I've already worked out it. Mine is shaking from that little movement. So you can do that on both sides. You can always add on ankle weights if you want to increase the intensity of the move. If you feel like that's too easy for you, there's always a way to intensify it as well. Okay, the next move is a bridge. So lying on your back with your feet on the floor, and you're gonna lift up, lift your glutes towards the ceiling, and again, you can put weights, either 2 weights or 1 weight across your hips if you want to intensify this movement. But you really want to focus on contracting the glutes and hold up here. If you want to make it a little bit easier, move your feet farther out. That's going to make it easier. Bringing your feet closer to your bum is going to make it harder. Okay, so that's a great one. The next one, oh yes, I have to think about it for a second, is deadlifts. And I like doing the 1-leg deadlifts. You can also do a deadlift with 2 legs, and I'll show you both versions. Okay, and I'm going to show you without weights. You can always add on weights as you get stronger and your balance gets better. But here's a single leg deadlift. So you're going to stand bouncing. I'm going to bounce on my right leg first. I'm going to tip forward, and if you need something to hold on to, you can always grab a chair and just give yourself a little balance. Lean forward. You want that leg to be maybe parallel. It doesn't matter if you can't get it up that high. You want the toes turned towards the floor, not turned out to the side. Okay, so your hips level with the floor. And then you're going to contract that glute muscle to come back up. Okay, so without anything to support you, just working on your balance. Now this leg slightly bent. You're going to probably feel a pull in your hamstrings. You want to aim for about the middle of your shin at the lowest. You're not trying to get those weights to the floor or anything, okay? And then alternate sides. What you do on one side, you want to do on the other side. Again, strong, long back. No hunching over or arching in that back. You want to keep it strong and long, okay? And contract that muscle to come up. You can also do it with both legs at once. So you're just going to lean forward. Your knees are going to be slightly bent. Your knees over your toes, both facing the same way, in line. Your feet are hip width so that everything lines up. Again, hands are going to go to mid-shin, no lower. Your back is nice and flat, not hunched or arched. Okay, nice and flat. And then contract your hip muscles to come up. If you're just starting out, this is a good way to start, just to kind of get the feeling in the hips before you add that balance component. Okay, now a couple moves to work on squats. Squats can be not as tough on your knees if you have good form, but if you are coming forward at all in your squat, that can be a little bit of extra pressure on your knees, and that can be really hard to avoid depending on how your body is put together, right? So an easier way to do it is use, I'm not going to say easier, but easier on the knees, is lean against a ball, have it behind you, have your feet out in front of you, so that as you come down, your knees are over your ankles, okay? So they're not coming forward at all. I can't really show you from the side, but my knees are right over my ankles, okay? So it takes a lot of the pressure out of my knees. And you modify this by not going as low. I can still feel my quads working. You can go into a squat like this against the wall with the ball behind you and hold it. That's gonna intensify it. You can always add weights, if you're ready for that. But adding the range of motion and going lower is another way to intensify it. But if you're struggling with sore knees, that might not feel good for you. So you need to go with where you are at. Okay. And the last move you can do instead of squats, which also works the hamstrings, you're gonna lie on your back. You're gonna need a ball for this, a fitness ball. And okay, I'm breathing heavy because I'm using the big muscles in my legs. This says modifying, it's easy. Okay, so you're gonna put your feet up on the ball. You're gonna lift your hips, and then you're gonna bring your feet in towards you, working those hamstrings. Let it roll back out. This is a more advanced move, so you need to have pretty good core strength to be able to do this. Okay, you're gonna feel that in your hamstrings. I definitely feel it. Okay, so I hope that's helpful. If you have knee pain or any pain, usually stopping doing anything physical doesn't help in the long run because you just tend to get weaker. You might need to take a break and let the inflammation go down, but then get back into it and do what you can because keeping the muscles strong around a joint that isn't the greatest is gonna help you. I have actually a really bad right knee. I have a little bit of an inversion here in this knee. So my femur kind of twists in and my knee doesn't quite line up right. And when I ruptured my Achilles on that side, my leg got really weak, of course. And during my recovery, probably the most painful, look how heavy I'm breathing, probably the most painful thing was my knee because it was all out of alignment and I didn't have those strong muscles to support that joint. And so I had to do a lot of work on that knee to get it strong again. And now that it's strong again, it really doesn't bother me. I don't notice it. I can do anything that I need to be able to do and it works just fine. But if I know now that if I lose that strength, I'm gonna have a lot more issues. So it's that balance between finding something that challenges you, but something that you can do and feel successful at. That's the key. Okay, I hope you guys have a great day and I hope this is helpful.